wanted to wait until it was the afternoon, which is more of an appropriate time to crack a beer. And I didn't have any soft drinks, so I couldn't crack anything else. All I have is beer. Not a bad problem. Oh yeah, hang on. We're keeping it real. We're going off cuff. 1 sec. Ah, there it is. He's right here the whole time. Doing it live, off cuff. Wow, we're not doing it off cuff. We're scripted, but trying to make it seem like we're doing it off cuff. Anyway, welcome to this week's episode of Prime Ratio. It's a little later of an upload this week. I've just wrapped up some house and cat sitting, and I've just got back to the shop, so there's quite a bit of shit to do, but we'll just kind of get into it. First up, we'll do some catch up on what's happened since we last recorded. There was the Abbotsford Cycles swap meet, which completely missed my radar. I completely forgot that it was on. I was working, and I think in previous years I've taken time off work to go and check it out. I've been a few times before, as I said, but the stuff that gets put up for sale there isn't really the sort of stuff that I'm personally interested in. It is good stuff, but we have quite a lot of older bike enthusiasts, so I could go and maybe buy some stuff for the shop. But if we don't know that we need it, it's kind of hard to look for that sort of stuff at that swap meet. So, one of those ones I'm not overly upset about missing. We've already talked about it, but we mentioned the Chase the Sun 100-kilometer bike ride that happens the last day before Daylight Savings. That was one of the last episodes we recorded, which was in early April, I believe. So it's been a bit of a gap. But I might see if I can get Ed on at some point to talk us through how that went, organising a group ride and the distance and all those different factors. A couple of weeks back, we had Ride and Dirty number 4, which is a fixed brakeless alley cat, which has been running infrequently for the last 7 or 8 years. Indeed, it was the first alley cat that I ever did. I did film. The video for that is coming out soon. I'm going to try and get some guests on in the future who either did it or was involved in it. It was a great event. But all the events that Charlie and the 3065 Dirtbags put on, it's a mixed bag. It's real. You never really know what you're going to get. They are well run and they're quite enjoyable, but they don't get really advertised through standard avenues. It's more of like an if you know kind of structure. And oftentimes they get posted up or, I guess, made known to the wider community quite short notice. So a lot of the events get missed. This is one that I always make an effort to show up to when I see it. So it's, it was a good time. And we'll probably talk more in depth about that at a later date. It does kind of makes me think when, you have all the younger or newer crew members and an older event like this comes up, people are like, shit, I've never heard of this event, and they come through and they check it out. It's just great to sort of see the older events still happening and the newer people get to experience it for the first time. Yeah, it's one of those things that I can't do that anymore because I've been around forever, but it's nice to see the mixture of new and old faces. In between these past events and the regular sort of Monday Night Ride routines, the usual stuff's been going on in the background. I've been working here in the shop, as well as helping out some other shops elsewhere in Melbourne, as well as doing M&R, which is Monday Night Ride, the Wednesday night shop drinks, Friday sessions, and occasional podcast recordings and community events. Essentially, I've been working 7 days a week with something on every single day, every single night, and I haven't been giving myself time to rest. This is something I wanted to talk about off cuff and just, spoken word kind of style, but I always found myself sort of tailing off or just losing motivation. And the writing of a script to have something to follow with talking about these things is in itself something that I don't do often enough. All of my days, every day is a work day. I have a rough idea of things that I need to do, but not very often will I actually write those things down so I can check them off. The podcast is one of those things now where I've been writing down sort of bullet points and things to help keep the structure, to help keep things succinct and moving smoothly. In my day-to-day, I used to do that in my work life. I used to write down all the services that would come in, but now it's just a matter of sort of keeping track of like what's in the book, whether we can do them, what's waiting on parts, what's done, what I've assessed and have sort of taken point on, what my co-worker Tom's assessed and taken point on, whether it's a long-term, short-term, urgent, friend job, all those factors. I just don't write anything down anymore, and yeah, it kind of isn't sustainable, and there comes points where I just kind of hit a wall and it just becomes too much. On that topic, I don't get burnt out on many things, but considering I do have so many things on, I've got a very intense workload. I'm also trying to balance a long-term relationship with all of that. I will say I'm retroactively glad that I had the last couple of episodes scheduled. We recorded them over 2 days during a weekend, and we got 3 episodes out of that, so that kind of gave me 3 weeks to sit back and breathe, enjoy the peace and quiet and those rare moments I managed to get it. And yeah, this house sitting gig that I've just wrapped up was pretty much for the weekend, and it was great just to be able to sit and do nothing. Of course I had plans to do other stuff, but it didn't eventuate, and that's probably a good thing now that I think back on it. So I'm well rested, I'm well fed, I'm clean, I'm back and glad to be here. So things to look forward to. This is more of a standard solo episode where I just sort of update you on the goings on. I did try not to get too carried away with the whole burnout thing, but we might talk about it with a guest, an appropriately experienced guest in future. I haven't got anyone lined up, but we'll see. Things to look forward to in the coming days and weeks. Alex still hasn't announced his next Alley Cat, which I've alluded to in past episodes. I've been told it's going to happen in late April or early May. We are getting a lot closer to early May, so probably then. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. On another front, the Fixo Genovese cycling swap meet is happening on the 3rd of May. Now, I believe that is a Saturday, Saturday the 3rd of May. It's happening up at Genovese Coffee on Moreland Road, near the corner with Holmes Street in Coburg. It's honestly one of the best swap meets of the year. The first one I went to was last year, and the turnout was great. A bunch of new faces, a bunch of old faces. Lots of really good stuff. I bought a lot, but none of it was for me. So I'm looking forward to maybe buying some stuff for myself this time. We'll be there running a community stall, so if you have a couple of things to sell and you can't be bothered securing a stall for yourself, hit us up to secure some spots and get some prices settled on. I will be back with the regular format of recording next week. I'm having Max as a guest. I know we've got a lot to catch up on, as most of you will know. Max got his Master Bikeco Cortec stolen, and about a week ago we managed to get it back. So it'd be real good to sort of get the story on all that, and catch up on some events that we've both been involved in, and just generally catch up. Max is good people. Monday night rides are on as usual. Every Monday, meeting up at the Melbourne Museum at 6 p.m. We're rolling out at 7. Come through, bring some friends, and get to know what this community is all about. The Monday night rides. Turnouts generally die down a little bit during the winter, so that's going to be a little bit harder, but if you're consistent with the turnouts, if you're consistent with the events, people will show up, and there'll be something to come back to in the warmer months. Besides, we're not quite in the depths of winter just yet. It does get dark, but it's still relatively forgiving. That felt like a lot, but it's actually not been very long. So I'll call it here. I'm hanging out with my beer. That's been Prime Ratio. I've been Felix. I appreciate you for joining me. If you have got any hot takes, questions, controversial opinions, anything else, or you want to come on board and be a guest, send us an email at ridebikesandbemerry@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram at Felix the Other Cat for myself, or at Melbourne Alley Cat, that's spelled MELBURN Alley Cat on Instagram. Yeah, that's a wrap. Ride bikes, be merry, and I'll catch you soon.